All right, so we're gonna go over the training manual a bit. So everyone has their binders?
Yeah.
Okay. So, chain of command, does everyone recall that? Let's actually do that first. If I still have it. There it is. All right, so program coordinator, who's that? Devin, no. Oh wait, I said coordinator though. Program director is Devin. All right. Program coordinator is me. Faculty facilitators. Faculty, yep. Senior camp counselors. Some of you. Junior camp counselors. And then faculty guests, we might have, so like for the St. Francis Fair Camp, they're bringing in like a dance teacher to teach them dances. So those will be faculty guests, but you guys you'll just be co-workers at that point, really. So this is our chain of command, which is also on the Canvas page if you forget. So I wanted to go touch on that real quick. Okay, now we're gonna go through the handbook a little bit. So, oh wow. Oh, okay. So, you guys can read through this if you want to. Employee values, open communication, mutual respect, be good people. Okay, so what does this mean for camp counselors? So you need to be friendly, courteous, and consistent with campers, parents, and coworkers. No bullying people. Reflect and make sure campers get the chance to do the same. Be honest. Go above and beyond. Make sure you have an open mind. And then, just know that all of us are growing and learning about all of this together. It's only our second year still. So just make sure you are giving everyone some grace, especially me and Devin, because, we're still figuring everything out too. So here's the beef of this lesson here. So expectations, cell phones. So you guys are allowed to have cell phones on your person, but they should only be used during your breaks or in emergencies. So you guys will have the walkie-talkies for most things, but if you obviously if you need to call 911, use your cell phone. If there's something that would just be a lot easier to just call Devin or I or each other, that's fine, but emergencies only, because again, we want to model the behavior for the campers. You shouldn't be using them in camp activities or while supervising campers. I know that sometimes you guys might get a little bored, in the business leadership camp and the game and tech camp, there might be things that you guys are kind of just hanging out for a little bit, but try not to get on your phone. We don't want to model that behavior. So, you guys can participate in activities that there's not a set amount of materials for. You can participate with the campers, or you can go around and discuss with them, what are you doing here? What is, why did you choose to do it this way? Just go around and make a discussion with them. And then don't contact campers, don't add them on social media, unless you obviously have had a personal relationship with them in the past, then that will already be there. But don't, let campers add you on social media and all that type of stuff. Dress code. So we will be giving you t-shirts. So I think senior camp counselors and junior camp counselors will have different color t-shirts. And so that shirt should be worn during camp days. I think we're gonna give 2 each, maybe?
I ordered enough for 2 each, but I haven't decided because they're expensive. And I don't know if I want to give you guys all of them, but we will play that by ear.
Yeah, so t-shirt, pants, and footwear will be decided camp by camp basis. So it's either gonna be tennis shoes, just any type of sneaker, tennis shoes, whatever, that you can move around easily in. Or you could do sandals as long as they're Chacos, something with a back strap on it. So no Crocs. I know they technically have a back strap, but nah. So just make sure they're sandals that can be really secured to your foot. Shorts should be athletic material, jean, chino, or khaki. So make sure, and then they need to go down to your mid-thigh. So no leggings or spandex. They shouldn't be exceptionally short. You know, we're not going to do the whole fingertip thing. You know, we want to trust you to make that judgment. Like, just go down to the mid-thigh, be pretty modest. We're Catholic University. So, and then athletic material. So no biker shorts. I know that it's a little weird, but there are like loosey, kind of like basketball shorts is what comes to my mind, but they're all kind of like looser pants, looser athletic material pants. And then, does everyone know what chino is? Because I didn't. And Devin was like, chino. And she was like, duh, Caitlin, chino. And I was like, what, Devin? Wow. I'll show you.
Generally, they sell it at like J Group, if that's helpful. It's just like a little. Okay, yeah, sure.
So it's like this, like material, you know? Yeah, like the color block.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
So like work pants.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
call them golf pants.
So, you know, like
Those are
these
golf
would be
shorts.
perfect and beautiful.
We got chino pants too.
Those would be pretty good, you know?
Chic.
So that's chino. You can be a little ball of color.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just look clean and nice, pretty modest, you know, dress for camp. Breaks and lunches. So we talked a little bit about this. So we want to do 2 paid 15-minute breaks. So you guys will obviously need to stay on campus and go to one of the places that we designated for you guys. And then we are kind of trying to figure out how we would do these 30-minute unpaid breaks, because they can't be your lunch, because you have to still supervise the campers during your lunch, which obviously you're paid for. So I don't know if there's enough time in the day to do the 30-minute break or what, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought we talked about this. We're not gonna have a designated unpaid 30-minute break. It's gonna be like if you need it. So you'll be paid for lunch, you'll be paid for your 15-minute breaks, but if there's something that you need a 30-minute break for, then we'll just write that down as I took a unpaid 30-minute break, so I can put it on your time card. Does that feel okay for everybody?
Yeah.
so yeah. So if you need the break, like, don't be afraid to be like, okay, you know, I think I need my 30-minute break today. So just like let us know, you know, in advance, but we'll make sure you get that break if you need it. We want to make sure you guys are all feeling up to par all the time. So, like I said, Cougar Den you could go to, which is in Cougar Den. No, that's the coffee shop, right?
The Cougar Den is Holy Grounds.
Holy Grounds Coffee Shop. The Cougar Hideout is the one in JP2 that we were like, this won't be open. Then Trinity you could go to, and then the counselor headquarters, or just around JP2 and all the lobby areas. You know, there's plenty of seats. So. Attendance and punctuality. So we've also touched on this a little bit. So counselors you're going to be able to, you know, be reliable and punctual. So, you know, we have scheduled you guys. And so we don't want anyone to be tardy. We ran into this a few times last year. And it's just tough to do the morning touch base with everyone if we don't have everyone. And then there's like, oh, we have to tell 3 more people who aren't here for our meeting. So we want to make sure, okay, we're going to be 30 minutes early in the counselor headquarters. That's what we're doing. So we just want to make sure we're not being disruptive. On call. So we had on call, and then we had some scheduling changes. So we'll see how that works out. But if you guys need to like switch shifts, so you're like, okay, you know, maybe this week, maybe something emergency comes up and you're like, oh my gosh, I need like someone to cover this one day. Obviously go through Devin and I, and then loop in the person that you have talked to be like, okay, this person said they could cover this for me, and so we'll get it figured out. Emergencies happen. So we just want to make sure we're communicating so that there's no holes in our schedule. Customer service. So we want to make sure we are having good customer service, in quotes. So basically, you know, you should be smiling. You should be making small talk with parents. We ran into a few issues with this last year too. Like, you know, we just didn't, I don't think we portrayed the expectation very well of what we wanted pick up and drop off to look like. And so we just want to make sure, like, we're making small talk with the parents. We want to make them feel like, oh, my kids are with friendly, great people. So, want to get to know them. And then obviously we talked about good rapport with the campers. So it's really the parents that I want to touch on this the strongest. Like, we want to make sure we're talking to the parents, getting to know them a little bit too. Let's see, walkie-talkies. So we decided that all senior camp counselors are going to get a walkie-talkie. And so these should be used appropriately. So no silly little, I know it's really tempting, but at least during camp hours, maybe we'll let you have like a 2-minute silly time after camp hours. But during camp hours, we want to be using them for emergencies only or communicating with people that you're not with already. So especially during like the wilderness camp, they'll be really, really important because we're going to be more spread out. And then especially if you're, like we said, maybe you could go into the collaboratory if you wanted to take your counselor group there. You want to make sure you have your walkie-talkie on you. Set up and tear down. So like we said, 30 minutes early so we can set up, and you'll probably end up working about 30 minutes after the camp time as well, so we can have our end of day meeting and clean everything up. And so then we will be putting things in the counselor headquarters. We have totes that we have labeled, which, if the totes don't work, like, feel free to make suggestions to us, suggestions. Like, we want to make this as easy as possible for you guys too. So, if things don't work out like we have in our mind, that happens sometimes. So just let us know if you're like, this is not very efficient, let's try it this way. So, yes.
For our time card, do we put in the 30 minutes extra and 30 minutes after?
Yes.
Or is that depending on what time we get out? Or?
Yes. So
I would, at minimum, you're going to put the 30 minutes after, because we're always going to do like an after meeting and walk all the supplies over as a group. We may, if it takes a longer than that for us to go over, then you would account for that time as well.
Okay.
Yes. So, every time, like, all the hours you're here on campus, like, put it in your time card, whatever. Medication lockbox. So we have this, it's not a box actually, it's a bag. So we have a lock bag and it has a little lock on it. I think we decided that is going to stay with me or Devin. And then if you do have a camper that has medication, that will be in the lock bag. You'll, walkie-talkie like 10 minutes before they need to take it. Like, okay, my camper has a medication they need to take at 1 p.m. and then we'll get it over to you. So you won't have to worry about coming and finding us or whatever. We'll get it over to you guys. And then, yes.
What if a counselor has to take medicine?
So counselor takes medicine. You can keep it on you. You're all adults basically. But just don't take it like in front of all the campers. Just go to the bathroom or a different room and take your medication, do what you need to do, and then come back. And if it's like, I don't obviously know all your guys' health things. So, if it's something you need to have a longer break for, we can figure that out. We just need to know so that we can get all that stuff figured out. And then we are not administering medication to campers. We are only supervising them taking it. So campers should be able to have the bottle, get what they need out, and take it on their own. Like, we are not taking the pills out, giving it to them. We are only supervising. So, yes.
What about like ibuprofen or Tylenol? What happens if like a camper is like, I have a headache? Do we have anything for that? Can we do that?
That's a really good question. I'm going to say no, but I will check on how our liability officer feels about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sending out a form to parents if the liability officer approves it.
Yeah.
Send out the form and be like, is your child okay to use ibuprofen?
Yeah. And if they don't, if the liability officer says no, we can even maybe put it in an email to parents, like if your child needs ibuprofen sometimes, like maybe send them and we'll put it in our lockbox and send it home with them each day. So we'll get that figured out that way.
Our first aid kits, I do believe, have ibuprofen in them.
Usually they do.
Yeah, so So we will have some on site, and then, so just so you guys know as well, if anyone's having a headache, you're free to use it.
All right, so on call we talked about. I don't think we have any on call anymore, but that is okay because everything's covered. So, but if we do end up having another on call, you'll need to be available to get here like within the hour if we call you, and then for each week you're on call, you'll get $50 gift card for each camp. But I don't think we need to worry about that. Aftercare. So a few of you were assigned aftercare, which only the St. Francis Fair had some, but now I think there's some signed up for the Wilderness and the animation or Game and Tech. So we do have a few more signed up now. So this is from 3 to 5, and this is just a time for parents to have extra time to pick up their kids. And so there's not going to be really any structured activities here. Like we have like a box of like coloring books and different things you can make, and that's good for like the younger kids. The older kids might want to like expand on what they were doing during the camp day or take a walk, or maybe they'll just want to be on their phones. That's fine. We just need someone there with them. So that's kind of up to the campers that are there. That'll be kind of camper-led time there. But we do have, we'll talk about this later, but we're gonna have icebreakers prepared for you guys, like just extras that you can do with like directions for inside the clipboard. And then normally there's only 1 to 2 people scheduled for that, so. Relationships. So obviously we want to be friendly and supportive, but you need to maintain your proper role as guides and mentors. And so, we want to make sure we are having an appropriate relationship with each other as well as the campers. So we just want to make sure that we're not, I know a lot of us do each other beforehand, so, we're all friends here, but, just no, we don't want to get too close. Then leadership. We are role models and leaders to both the campers and to each other. So, you need to have good judgment. You need to make sure to ask for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We have the chain of command. And then just, we are always here to help you. So don't feel like you're going to get in trouble or anything for asking for any type of help. In fact, you'd rather ask for help than something bad happen if you don't ask for help and you're hesitant about it. So, and then, we talked about this earlier, boundaries. You should refrain from discussing, political things, controversial things, but there's a time and a place, so just make sure we're always being appropriate and open-minded.
I want to cover, there might be students that ask whether you guys are Catholic. That's one of those hard, soft boundaries if you want to share that with them. This being a Catholic university, not everybody is required to be Catholic. I'm not Catholic. And so sometimes when I'm working with students, like USF students, that's something I will share because it gives context to my knowledge base when talking about different things. And then if it comes up, if they're asking questions about that, that's just where you put a stop and you say like, hey, this maybe isn't the time and place. Like I don't represent St. Francis in this way. This is my background. And then you kind of shift it.
Yep. All right, so obviously we're not gonna endanger anybody, no bullying, no inappropriate physical contact, no weapons, no profanity, no drugs, no stealing, the things. And then repercussions. So we need to hold each other accountable. So, we are, you guys are allowed to, kind of hold each other accountable and be like, hey, I just don't know if this is the greatest way to do this. We can check with Caitlin or Devin, but I just think we should do this another way. So just be respectful to each other. And then if it's creating disruption or burden on other members, then, obviously come to me. And then if something does happen, we'll have a conversation with everyone who was there to see what we think is appropriate. We have a write-up sheet if something does happen, and so we'll kind of have a discussion and talk about it and see if anything can be done. And then obviously termination of employment, if there's anything, crazy that happens. I don't think we will have that, hopefully. So, we just want to make sure we're making a positive environment for campers. If you can't get into it, if you're just snapping at people and you're just not in the right headspace for the day, we will send you home and try again the next day. And then obviously security will be called if you're harmful or dangerous to other people. So that is our repercussions, So if you have any questions about that, any questions? Yes.
I'm checking in. We're going to the counselor, airport. Okay.
Okay. Well, yes, when you arrive 30 minutes early, check-in for the campers is at Atkins.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify. All right. So in each clipboard, so there'll only be one clipboard per camp. So basically the senior camp counselor with the star next to their name is basically just responsible for this clipboard and make sure that they're delegating tasks and everything's getting done. So that's kind of the point of the clipboard, just for a visual, because I personally love a visual. So daily task, arrive 30 minutes before camp, team meeting, assemble materials, go to the camp location. So we'll probably walk over as a group in the morning from the counselor headquarters. We'll check in campers, provide assistance and supervision throughout the day, facilitate camper activities, record any accidents or behavioral issues. And for behavioral issues, I think we'll talk about this a little bit more later. But you can still record behavioral things that happen, and it doesn't have to be an official incident report form, just for your records, or if you are concerned about it and want to maybe bring it up to a parent or me or Devin. So that doesn't have to be an official thing. And then begin prepping for checkout 30 minutes before the end of camp. Supervise checkout. Authorized pickups we'll talk about a little more later, but each camper should have an authorized pickup person that will have a PIN they'll have to enter when picking up the camper. If the parent hasn't designated an authorized pickup person, then whoever comes and says, okay, this is my camper, we have to let them go with them. I mean, obviously, if the camper is that's not, I don't know them, we're not going to let them go with them. But, if sometimes there's parental situations and, but as long as the parent does or doesn't designate an authorized pickup person, that's what our policy is going to be. Then, obviously, help with cleanup. We'll charge walkie-talkies, collect personal belongings. Yes?
For the, prep to clean 30 minutes, or prep to check out 30 minutes before the end, is that we're going to be cleaning up then? Are we staying with the campers, or are we setting up the area to check out?
So this will kind of fall more on the junior camp counselors, I think, because they're going to be primarily responsible for check-in and check-out. So they can kind of go and prep we're using iPads for check-in and check-out, so they can prep the iPads, prep the space, kind of clean up a little bit. It'll just depend on the day, if the senior camp counselors, how involved they're able to be with that. And if it's not 30 minutes before the end of camp, it's not a big deal. It just will depend on the day and how busy the day is.
Yeah, the way I see it happening is the junior camp counselors will do the actual checking out process where they're talking to parents and coordinating it, but the senior camp counselors at 30 minutes, you should start wrapping up whatever activity you're doing and making sure that campers are able to get their stuff and moving towards the checkout space. It's just that 30-minute, now we know the end of the day is happening, how do we make sure that we're kind of ending it on a good note. Most of the cleanup can happen after that the campers leave. So don't worry about everything has to be put away.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the preparation, It's not set in stone, if you don't have everything picked up before parents get here, everything is ruined. No, it's whatever we can do that day. All right, beginning of week. So this is going to happen day one. Get a locker assignment if you want. Check in with the faculty facilitators about any lesson materials and content. Collect a fanny pack if you want. Clipboard will go to the senior camp counselor. And then we will have an on-site counselor tote. And then make sure the first aid kit is fully stocked because that will always be on site with you guys. So make sure it's stocked. Yes.
Does this fanny pack consist of anything in it, or is it just a fanny pack for you to carry your stuff?
Yep, just for you to carry your stuff. If you want to like steal some Band-Aids from the first aid pack just so you have them right on you, that's fine.
We're allowed to bring our own fanny packs, right?
Yeah, yep. If you want, whatever you want. And then the fanny packs will need to get turned in like at the end of the week just so we can like wash them and reuse them. End of week, this is last day, so we want to make sure everything is cleaned up from the camp location, restock the first aid kit if needed, return fanny pack, clipboard, and other materials, turn in your key for your locker, and then debrief on the camp week with everyone. Campus map, here it is. It's in your binder. If you have any questions, let us know, but we just did a tour. So, I also have a better map that I made that I think is easier to follow. But here's Achatz, here's JP2, and here's us, just for perspective. And Roland is over here, the art building.
No,
that's not Roland.
That's Hutzel.
What? Wait.
Down more, Roland is.
Go down.
More further.
Down, this is my kid.
There, yeah.
Oh wait, I forgot about Hutzel. Okay, Roland over here. Wow. Yeah. Okay, there we go. And there's construction on this road right here. Oh, for now. So just so you know, if you didn't know that, that road is closed. Okay, we already know about the counselor team. Goals and strategies. We want to make sure people have fun. We want to expose campers to college life, and then we want to develop positive relationships. Faculty goals. So the faculty are not meant to watch these children. That's what you guys are for. You are for interacting with them for the most part. You are for making these lessons so that children will enjoy the lessons. Because I think we will find sometimes that the faculty members created lessons that are for college students and not children, right? So we want to make sure we are, you guys are able to give feedback to faculty if we don't think that's the case. Obviously, we're going to be respectful and everything, but you can be like, listen, I think the way maybe things were going today, I think it may be better for the campers if we did it this way. And we either will do that or we won't. But it never hurts to bring up suggestions. But they are just meant to be the content experts.
Yeah, if you were part of the wilderness faculty meet and greet, Dr. Lou Weber started the meeting by saying that she was not a huge fan of children. But in theory, if these camps work the way that we're hoping they are, that doesn't matter. Because Lou is not responsible for really, leading the kids or, providing those lessons. She's there to kind of be the face of the environmental science department, to impart some general knowledge, and then you guys are the ones that are really doing the activities with the kids.
Camper safety. We talked a little bit about the authorized pickups. So again, just making sure if there is authorized pickup, it's actually that person. You should never be alone with a minor. So rule 3. So you should either have, so if a camper has to go to the bathroom, you either bring another counselor with you or another camper. You just never want to be alone with a camper. Just because, that's safety for them, safety for you. So that is the rule here. Yes?
You can, it can be me and 2 campers?
Yep.
Okay.
Just as long as someone else is there.
And I want to call attention to the last bullet point, which is that if you need to be one-on-one with a camper because they're having a really stressful moment that you want it to be private, that's okay. It just needs to be done in a public area. So taking a walk where other people from the camp can still see you in their line of sight is fine. Staying in a public area like the lobby is fine. You should never be in a closed area or a closed bathroom with one camper alone.
Yeah. So you wouldn't come into this classroom with a camper alone, but you could go in the hallway maybe with them. Obviously, no one else is in this building, so you wouldn't be in this building anyway. But if all of us campers, all of the campers were in this building, then yeah, go into the hallway, go into the lobby out there. If you do go in a classroom, lots of the classrooms in Achatz have windows, fine, So just make sure someone can see you.
And the other thing I really want to call attention to is that what makes us different from an elementary school or a general campground is that we cannot control who is coming onto this campus. This is an open campus. It's not even just faculty members. There are members of the public who walk their dogs and move around. So we just want to be really vigilant about watching where the campers are and who they're interacting with. You never know what could happen, and we are ultimately responsible for making sure they're safe. So if you are a senior camp counselor and you have your designated camper group, you are watching them at all times.
Physical contact, just don't touch the campers. High fives, handshakes, fist bumps, fine. But we shouldn't be like sitting real close to the campers, or they shouldn't be sitting real close to each other. We want to break up any PDA going on. So, no tickling or roughhousing or wrestling, piggyback rides. We don't want that. So
Last year we had somebody who works at the university come and give a seminar about how to work with kids with special needs, which includes students that are on the spectrum who might be feeling anxious or upset and might be having some outward expressions of that. And one of the things she had said during that presentation that she didn't clear with me was that, something you could do is you could give them a little massage to try to calm them down. We do not do that. Just making really clear. Sometimes it might seem like it's a good idea, or that kind of physical touch will help calm them down. It's a zero tolerance policy. We're not doing that. High fives, side hugs, if a camper initiates it first, is fine, but it shouldn't be a full on squeeze, torso to torso. And yeah, no piggyback rides or things like that.
You will have access to a first aid kit on site all the time. Always fill out an incident report, even if it's a little baby injury. We just want to be more careful than anything. Yes?
Would poison ivy count as incident report?
Yes.
That's a good question, but yes. There's ever emergency, 911. And then Devin. Life-threatening. So who would be interested in getting CPR certified? Okay, so we are thinking about trying to get our health sciences faculty member to host a seminar so we can get you all CPR certified. So I think we will probably try to do that. So obviously, take immediate action if you're CPR certified. And then medications, we talked about that. So we are not administering medications aside from EpiPens if someone needs an EpiPen. All right. So we talked about the chain of command. A parent has questions, so use your manual. We will have also a handbook always on site with you guys in your tote. So try to answer it to the best of your ability, but you can always be like, Devin, walkie-talkie, parent has a question about this. What is the answer? And we'll get back to you. If this happens, they can leave with the person at their own discretion if they have no authorized pickups. If they do, then contact Devin before allowing the camper to leave. So that's if an adult picking up a camper is not listed as an authorized pickup. Parent wants to stay on site during camp, so that they would have to go undergo a background check and training, and so they cannot stay on site. And so if you have issues, call in the DYP. Parent has a concern about bullying or inappropriate behavior. Incident log, so this is one of those we would obviously report hardcore bullying, but if there's just a kid teasing another kid, just make a note of that in a little notebook or something you have. And so just make sure you're doing your best to listen to the parent concern, and then kind of talk to me and Devin about it, and we'll see what we can kind of do with that.
And there's a parent complaint form that will be in the training manual. If for some reason, if I'm close by and a parent brings this up, I would just call me over to let me handle it. But if for some reason I am not there and the parent just wants to have a quick conversation and doesn't feel like I need to be involved, that's where you would fill out that parent complaint form and just let them know, hey, we take this stuff really seriously. If I can just jot down the information that you're sharing with me and share it with our director, then she will follow up and we can make sure that we come to we solve it in whatever way we can.
All right, so if a camper refuses to participate, try to see how they're feeling and encourage participation, and just document any issues. And then, these two kind of go back to our behavior management, which we will talk about a little bit more later as well. But just make sure you're communicating with all the staff and faculty around you, like, okay, my camper is having some issues, so let's, we need to talk about how we can maybe make this a little bit better for them or everyone. And then obviously if there is like a big disruption to safety, call security. We don't want campers to use their phones, only in emergencies. They can have them on them, but if it's a disruption, then we are able to take the phones. So if it's a constant, like, this camper is not having it, we can take the phones. And they will get it back at the end of the day, obviously. So then you'll log the incident in a report, and you'll want to make sure you let Devin know if you do end up confiscating a phone.
And for the phone policy, that's something we're gonna wanna go over with the campers at the very beginning to discuss with them so they know. Because, last year we were a little loose about it for the business leadership camp. They used them quite a bit, and they were distracting. I knew that they were taking TikTok videos and stuff like that. So we wanna make sure we prep them and go over our policies first so that they're not surprised. And so when we start taking them away, it's not a big fight.
I know at the sales thing we went to, one of the parents, when they were asking about the camp, they asked, can they have a phone? And they seemed very strict, if my camper can't, I'm not sending them, because that's a safety concern with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that child would be disruptive on their phone enough for them to take it away. But how would we handle if we did take a phone away? I guess that would be up to Devin. And then a parent complains and thinks that
So it's in our code of conduct. Our code of conduct that all campers and parents have to sign when they register their student, that if a cell phone is being used in an inappropriate way or is a distraction, it will be taken away. And if we took it away, I would call the parent to let them know. And that's why, if you're taking a camper's phone away, that you need to walkie-talkie me so I can come over and be involved, and then I will hold it in my office so that we can give it back to them and check out. That is exactly why we do allow them to have them at camp, is because a lot of parents are concerned about that. So this is kind of our workaround. We want them to have them, we don't want them to be a distraction.
right.
All right. Medication unauthorized. So we will have to take that because all medication has to be secure. So obviously you will call over Devin and we will have a discussion with the parents, the medication has to be in this lock bag. That's the policy. And
Does anybody have any theories as to why we're so strict about that?
Because they could take the wrong medicine, or someone could get in medicine.
They could give it to a friend.
Yeah, those are really it. We want to make sure that they're taking the right dose if they're not used to taking it on their own. But we also want to make sure that there's not a secret hidden drug trade going on among these campers.
They've got pills laced with something at school, so.
and then, if you see one of the counselors in a camper exchange information, you do want to see something, say something. So, let one of me or Devin know if you don't want to. You don't need to address it with them. Just let us know and we will handle it. But we just don't want that to be happening.
Are the campers allowed to exchange info?
Yes. Yes.